Jewell is trying every method known to make sure his players keep believing that they can upset the odds and stay in the Premiership. He's talking to John Champion.
Well, we've just seen action from your trip to Liverpool where you played very well but lost 3-1. Gerard Houllier said afterwards he believes that you're going to stay up. So is he in a minority or a majority? Are you winning people over?
Well, it's not about winning people over, it's about winning football matches, John, and we need to win a lot more games, we know that.
In the Daily Telegraph this morning there's a nice line. It says that being with Bradford at the moment is a bit like being drowned with candy floss, in that everyone's being terribly nice to you and saying you're dreadfully good chaps, you're playing lovely football, but you're not winning. Is that your take on it as well?
Well, I don't think the press have been too kind to us early on, but lately we've been getting a bit more praise. But it's not about what the press says, what we do on this pitch here. And I'd rather them say unkind things about us and get results, because that's what it's about.
So what do you make of what you've been doing on the pitch so far? Are you satisfied?
Well, obviously we're not satisfied because we're in the bottom three. It's taken us a while to adjust to the Premier League. We started out not playing defensive, but we're getting forced back. And the last few weeks we've decided to be a bit more cavalier, if you like, and try and score more goals, because we were finding it increasingly difficult to make chances. And although we've looked a bit vulnerable at the back, at least we've looked like scoring goals.
So the idea at the moment is just to score more than the opposition. Even if they score 3, you've got to score 4.
John, in football that's always the case. You've always got to score more goals in opposition to win a football match.
But most teams are content with shutting out the opposition and just scoring 1. That's the difference, isn't it?
Well, I'd be content with that, but it wasn't happening. So we've got to create more chances, and we've got to tighten up at the back. We know we've got a lot to do when we're up against it, but we're going to have a right go at it.
What about the evolution of the team? I mean, you made a number of close season signings. You spent the thick end of £3 million. I think you brought in 7 new faces. So is that it as far as team evolution goes, or are we going to see more movement?
We're always on the lookout for better players, and there's some money to spend in a kitty, and we're always on the lookout, as I said. And if I can get better players in for the right price than what I've got here, we'll endeavour to do that. But the players here have done exceptionally well, and I don't want to knock them.
I mean, are they performing as you expected them to perform?
Well, it's very difficult, it's a massive step up in level for us, and as long as the players give it their best, that's all I can ask for, and we've done that for most of the games, but we were finding it increasingly difficult to create chances early doors, so we've changed the system, and in the last 2.5 games, I say, we've created quite a number of chances, and even at Liverpool on Monday, we were criticised for being too cavalier, but if we score the second goal, who knows?
And today, I mean, Coventry, perennial strugglers, but doing rather better this season. Is this one of the games that you look at the fixture list and say, well, that's one we have to win?
Well, I think people like yourself can cipher through the fixture list. It's an old cliche, but it's quite right. The only game that counts to us is always the next one, and it's Coventry. And, as we stay here, 0-0 before we start, and we've got every chance, but they'll fancy the chances as well.
We should see goals then, judging by your approach.
Well, I don't care if we don't see goals, as long as we score 1 and they get 0. We're not here. It's nice to entertain, but it's even nicer to win.
Okay, well, let's forget the candy floss and just look for a result.
Bad for your teeth, John. Okay.
Lovely to talk to you.
And you, cheers.
And we can see how Bradford and the other Premiership teams playing today fare by watching Match of the Day, 10:30, BBC One, 6 games in all, best action from all 6. 5 points from 15 games. They know the salvage operation needs to start today at home to Watford. Derby would love to get a point at Liverpool, so would Southampton at Villa. Both those games today. 3 other games tomorrow. Newcastle play Everton, Wimbledon are at home to Leeds, another London derby.
Industrialist has always been a city of dark, satanic mills. Nowadays, this stronghold of sporting passion is symbolised by a redeveloped Valley Parade and by Lee Mills, neither dark nor, one hopes, satanic, but perhaps the most likely provider of the goals that could keep Bradford in the Premiership. 25 last season and 3 in the last 4 games. He's part of a 3-man attack as Paul Jewell sticks with the team that performed well in defeat at Anfield on Monday. There's no lack of experience. The combined age of the midfield triumvirate is exactly 100, and both Stuart McCall and Dean Saunders are older than the manager. Coventry's league position after 6 games unbeaten is unusually comfortable for the time of year. They make one predictable change with the Moroccan Shipa returning from suspension. Carlton Palmer will soon complete a permanent move to the club. He's yet to play in a losing Coventry team. And Steve Froggatt, England's surprise call-up, has another chance to impress the watching England coach. The referee, Barry Knight, is making his debut at Valley Parade. Coventry in their change kit today. Bradford, for their part, taking a realistic approach to a daunting fixture list, and this is a game they've identified as one they really do need to win. Coventry's away record is none too impressive. They've won only 3 of their last 30 away games in the Premiership. This is Dean Windass for Bradford. In towards Lee Mills, just over the head of Saunders. And Carlton Palmer doing the tidying up for Coventry. Finding McAllister. It's a fairly chilly afternoon. The playing surface is good and there's no great breeze. This is Robbie Keane. And here's McAllister, who has scored inside 40 seconds. What a start for the Sky Blues. Their first attack, and a huge gap appeared into which drifted Coventry's captain. He was onside, just needed a good touch, and that's, as ever, was provided in silky fashion by Gary McAllister. Just what Bradford didn't want and couldn't afford. Paul Jewell has accepted that the way his team plays, they will concede a fair few goals, but not as quickly as that, surely. He's banking on them scoring plenty, and they're up against it already. O'Brien. Haji. Roberts. First touch was not the best from O'Brien. Marcus Hall winding up for a longer throw. Headed away by Redfern. Back to the taker. Froggatt. Keane, good control, the twist, the shot, and the parry from Matt Clark, and then appeals for handball against Redfern. Referee not interested. And Bradford struggling to clear their lines with any sort of conviction. Shipo. Telfer. Haji and Keane both waiting for the cross, which is repelled by McCall. Coventry having much the better of the opening 10 minutes. Lee Sharp. Hoisted into the sunlight, and the flick on may find Saunders. It's a very good piece of defending by Marcus Hall. Windass, well won, and then lofted in for a second time towards Mills, and Saunders paired after it, but couldn't reach it. At least a sign of hope for Bradford after such a depressing start. Bradford's tendency this season has been to start games well and then fall away. Today, if they're going to get anything out of this contest, Paul Jewell's men need to reverse that trend. Sharp. Redfern. It's actually Telfer's header that found Lee Mills, and here's Robbie Blake. Bradford again with plenty forward, 5 inside the penalty area. What it needs is a good cross. That's what it's not going to get. Weatherall. Sharp. Blake. Stuart McCall. Into Lee Mills, and Redfern!